It appears there's been significant unrest in South Korea recently, with widespread protests against President Yoon Suk Yeol. The protests were sparked by issues such as labor rights, including demands for better wages and working conditions, particularly affecting workers in key industries like automotive manufacturing. These protests escalated to the point where many citizens refused to work, particularly on assembly lines for companies like Honda and Hyundai. This collective action pressured the government and led to calls for the president to resign. The situation is still developing, and its outcomes will depend on the government's response and the ongoing actions of the protesters. Part 2. Recently, South Korea has witnessed significant labor protests, particularly from the Hyundai Motor Union, which organized strikes from September 1st to 3, 2025. This was a notable action, as it marked the first substantial strike in 7 years, focused on wage and working conditions. The workers' demands included a year-end bonus amounting to 30% of the company's net profit for 2024, an increase in the statutory retirement age from 60 to 64 years, implementation of a 4.5-day workweek. The protests were characterized by a refusal to work, with around 40,000 union members participating. Workers staged partial strikes, halting operations for several hours each day in major factories across the country, in cities like Ulsan, Jeonju, and Asan. These actions come amidst ongoing labor negotiations in South Korea, where unions are advocating for fair compensation and better working conditions, especially in light of record-high profits from exports to the U.S. The protests reflect broader frustrations with long hours and high-intensity labor, impacting workers' quality of life and safety. The situation has intensified discussions about labor rights in South Korea, and its outcome remains to be seen as the government and companies respond to these demands.